bringing you key insights, tips, and advice from the brightest minds in the Canadian franchise industry. This is the Franchise Canada Chats podcast. Welcome to the Franchise Canada Chats podcast, where we take you into the world of franchising. Our interviews are with franchisees, franchisors, and industry leaders who give on-the-pulse expert advice and share their franchising insights and experiences. I'm your host, Stephanie. This is Season 4, Episode 3 of the spring season. In this episode, I talked to EverLine Coatings and Services President John Evans and franchisee Simon Jawanda from Winnipeg, Manitoba. EverLine Coatings and Services provides pavement marking and parking lot maintenance services. Here, John and Simon share how the brand has achieved franchise growth even during the challenges introduced by the COVID-19 pandemic. How Simon keeps motivated as a triple threat, balancing his career and personal life as a franchisee, full-time firefighter, and a new dad. And the learning curve that EverLine Coatings and Services has given Simon, while John continues providing round-the-clock support for franchisees. Enjoy the episode. So my first question is for John. To start, can you tell us a bit about the EverLine Coatings and Services concept and what sets it apart?
Certainly. So EverLine Coatings and Services, we're a line painting and pavement maintenance brand that is just changing the game by providing just a ton of innovation, professionalism in an industry that hasn't quite found it or hasn't quite been there yet before. In terms of, it's been a pretty low tech, kind of under the radar industry because the work gets done, every parking lot and roadways has to get repainted and resealed with cracks filled and asphalt repaired and all that kind of stuff. But the industry hadn't quite attracted the right mindset to it. So when I discovered the industry myself, I figured, hey, there's a lot of smart people out there that I think that if we apply their business acumen to this industry, we can really do some damage. And I mean that in a good way by changing the game and disrupting the industry. And so far, we're doing that. So it's very exciting.
Awesome. Next question is for Simon. What were you doing before you became an EverLine Coatings franchisee, and why were you attracted to this brand in particular?
So before I joined the EverLine Coatings team, I was a member of the Winnipeg Fire Department, working as a firefighter paramedic. I always had an entrepreneurial side to myself, and I always said, hey, I'm gonna do something one day, but I just quite wasn't sure what it's gonna be. And first I worked for about 3-4 years, saved some money, and then I really started looking into something that's gonna be I could still have that teamwork concept while working. That's what I grew up in. At the Winnipeg Fire Department, we rely on each other for everything, whether it's learning from each other, problem solving, etc. So I knew to go out by myself, it was going to be a lot more challenges, a lot more problems that I might not have the time to deal with, or I might have a lot of questions. I might fold. That's what I was kind of scared of. So, when I started looking into the franchise method, I kind of, see it as a blueprint that works. So, it all started from a Google search and something that caught my eye, something that I wanted to be, adapting to weather of Winnipeg. We all heard of that, and it's pretty harsh. And this maintenance of parking lot asphalt gets done a lot more than maybe some of the other provinces. So, it started from a Google search, and immediately it caught my attention how it was marketed, how the concept of the driven principles were out there. It spoke to me, and from our first conversation, the blueprint was all laid out by John, and and I knew immediately I wanted to be part of that team. I see where it was going. I see the vision, and it was very similar to what I was doing with the Winnipeg Fire Department, and I saw the same thing with EverLine Coatings, and so that's what kind of sealed the deal for me.
Great. And John, how did EverLine Coatings get its start, and what are some benefits you offer your franchisees?
Well, believe it or not, EverLine got its start at a franchise show. So when I was in university, I was a College Pro Painters franchisee myself. I got the company up to I think the second highest in revenue in North America at the time, and I more or less knew I wanted to continue on. As soon as I graduated school, kind of outgrew that student painting program that they offer. So I knew I wanted to run my own business, and coming from a franchise system, all the challenges of building those initial systems, not having a brand behind me or whatnot, I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to just go in and operate something super great. So I actually went to a franchise show here in Calgary to not necessarily buy one, but get the juices flowing. And, I said, and I came across a company that was not selling a franchise, but they were licensing a new type of durable traffic marking technology. And we got to talking, and given my background in painting houses at the time, is kind of like was a familiar but different type industry to get going into it. So, but what's funny is that I was of such low sophistication and understanding, the franchising space, and so were they, that we were talking back and forth as if I was buying a franchise, but in fact it was more of a licensing type deal. So I remember, going to training and saying, hey, when am I going to get my jacket with the better line on it and things like that? And they said, what are you talking about? You're going to be your own brand, all that sort of stuff. And I was like, what? So it's so that was a big thing. And then went from a franchise system myself to with estimate forms, proposals, methods of estimation, branding behind it, a website, all that sort of stuff was not there at all. And to go from for a franchise system to something where there's absolutely nothing, that was a bit of a challenge. So that was where we began the process of building up the processes and systems. And then that transitioned into, hey, I think there could be a really great opportunity here for this to be a national brand through franchising. And so, of course, began the opportunity to share this opportunity with others, and what this business model has done for me and for my family.
Cool. And Simon, when did you buy your franchise, and what has your experience been like so far?
Stephanie, so I bought my franchise end of 2018. We signed the papers in January 2019, and experience. It's been a learning curve. There's definitely some challenges from learning the operations to administration to marketing. So we have a great blueprint, like I said, but it's being specializing in every single one of those units too, because it's got to work together, from how you market yourself, how you deliver on the job, or convincing clients to work with us, and delivering on the promise was a key factor. I think the experience itself in the past 2 years, it has been tremendous. It's a lot, but at the same time, going back to my last point, the support is there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Like I could send a message at 2 a.m. and expect an answer. So that was the nice part. You're not going in by yourself. You have a team of people that have calculated many years of experience, that have gone through what you're currently going through in your first year and your second year, all the problems, they've solved them all. Now you kind of look at the system like, okay, well, they've probably went through all this. So the help and the support is just unbelievable. So that was huge for me, because it's easy to get discouraged, and it's easy to, just hang it up quickly. But now John and his team and the EverLine Coatings team, they've always kind of pushed you, and whether it's trying different things and adapting to the time, like currently what we are right now. So overall, the experience has been a learning curve, but it's been, it's been great. It's been very good.
Awesome. And John, what support were you providing your franchisees before the COVID-19 pandemic, and how has that support changed?
A great question. I felt that support was always one of the things we did best. So I would say that before COVID hit, like, not a lot changed in the structure and how support came out. That we were, I know how it is. You're out in the field and you have a question of how to do something, or you're trying to solve a problem with how to price something or put it together a proposal. You need an answer right away. You can't just send an email out for a ticket and just say, hey, does anyone have an answer to this? You get a response in a day or two, or you wait for your monthly meeting to ask these questions. For me, it's always been my philosophy that support has to be in real time at all times. Like that's just the world we're in. And so that's kind of the direction it's been for me since the beginning. Is like, we utilize Slack, for instance, which is a common tool for a lot of teams to communicate, to be able to put everybody in together in a room. And if, say, I'm not available, or any of our corporate teams not available to answer, another franchisee will answer, just for the interest in helping, because they have been helped and that sort of thing. So that was already set up before COVID. Now, when COVID hit, though, of course, it's so weird being a year from when COVID started, and the difference that it is, because, of course, for everybody, that was a very stressful situation because of the uncertainty. We had just started, 4 new franchises in the middle of it. And, you're like, these people pumped a significant amount of their money into this, or their life savings, in order to start something and create something for themselves. And then we're dealt with this curveball. So for me, it began with, let's get them all together, and just try and problem solve. How do we not just survive this pandemic, but how do we thrive in it? And that's been when I got everybody together on that Zoom call, and that is on that Zoom call at the very beginning of the pandemic, of what are we going to do? Let's talk about it, roundtable, that sort of stuff. And it's funny, as little ideas here and there turned into something that we're known for now, and that we were able to convert our line striping machines into disinfectors. And so that was kind of like our very adjustment to the model, to ensure that, hey, listen, if this entire economy collapses, there's going to need to be a fight against this virus, and we have the ability to fight it. So let's do so. Now it ended up where we didn't really have to do really any disinfecting, because it just turned out that our services were considered essential at the end of the day. So we ended up growing all across the board. Simon had insane growth in Winnipeg, and it's just that overall as a brand going up a significant percentage in revenue throughout the pandemic, and going from that point there. And I think that started with just that, I guess, the mentality, or the the roll up your sleeves, let's solve this kind of mentality that we instilled upon the franchisees, instead of, all right, guys, we don't know what's going on, let's become a ball and just hide from this. It's like, let's hit this head on. So if we call that support, I'd call that a supportive mentality to have, to lead the whole team through that.
And John, you mentioned those disinfecting machines. What kind of things do you disinfect with those?
So it's all exterior stuff. So we don't do any interior disinfecting. It's the original plan and idea was that we would go and do like bus stops and grocery carts and things like that. And in reality, we honestly didn't get a big take in the market for it. But in terms of getting this work done, because people, bus stops, they didn't get done. Spray disinfecting, while it was done throughout Europe and Asia on exterior surfaces, Canada opted not to do that. That's fine. It got our it wasn't about the service or disinfecting. It was about really, when you have a significant economic event like a pandemic hit, it is now all about hustle. It's hustle through it, force yourself through it, problem solve through it. The harder you work, the luckier you get. That's a classic old saying. And I think that's what happened here.
Cool. We hope you're enjoying this episode so far. Did you know that Franchise Canada has a newsletter sent twice a month that's packed full of fresh franchise opportunities? With Franchise Canada e-News, you get new content from Franchise Canada magazine, franchisee success stories, industry news about CFA members, educational videos all about franchising, and you can keep up to date on the newest episodes of the Franchise Canada Chats podcast that you're listening to right now. Plus, by subscribing to Franchise Canada e-News, you get a free subscription to Franchise Canada magazine. Subscribe now at franchisecanada.online. Now back to the podcast episode you were enjoying. Simon, you mentioned the learning curves as a franchisee, but what, if any, are some of your biggest challenges you faced?
As a franchisee, now that I think about since I started, I think one of the biggest challenges for me itself was I've never done this kind of work before. So everything was very new to me. Obviously the idea that entrepreneur side kicks in. Well, when it comes into play, you gotta know what you're doing because your clients have got their parking lots or the epoxy that we train that they always had somebody before that was prior to doing this work. So I come into play. I need to gain some experience in this field. So, I had to get down dirty on the tools. Like I was figuring out tips and tricks and learning each piece of the equipment. Learning the anatomy of every single tool and equipment is important because it allows you to deliver on your promise of your parking lots. And I can't even drive down the street without looking at parking lots because I know the whole anatomy behind it. I know what to look for and what paint they use. So I think it's like anything. You put your mind to it. You said this is a challenge I'm going to learn, and with all the support that I've been provided from John and the team, we were always problem solving as a team. So what works, what doesn't for our clients, and offering them solutions. So that was huge for me. And one of the challenges I feel like I had a tough time was with when I had other employees. I was always involved in operations. I always wanted to be out there making sure, hey, everything is getting done right. And now I had to take John actually helped me significantly with this. I had to take a step back and actually see it as on a macro perspective and run it as a business where I couldn't be out there late at night working in parking lots and being up in the morning and talking to clients. So we really have to shift that as a business or owner, but sometimes it's hard not to be so involved in the work that you're doing from the ops side. So that was a little bit challenging for me. But like I said, it's something that these guys have all gone through. And for me coming in, and I was kind of I was trying to avoid the same mistakes they've made, and they've just caught them right in the early stages of my EverLine franchisee, operation. So I realized that, I adapted to it. Now, I have 9 employees, and and I've put 3 of them in operations, marketing, admin. So I'm kind of overseeing everything on a macro, and it's running smoother, and it's putting people in the right position. It's all, it's all just following the blueprint.
Great. And John, what impact did COVID-19 have on the EverLine coating system?
Well, we thrived in it, and full disclosure, I am so sympathetic to those who are on the bad side of this pandemic. I can't imagine the devastation that people would have faced, particularly people in the restaurant industry, or anything else that had to shut down, like play gyms for kids and things like that. No one could no one can do that. So there's that. But fortunately, just with whatever luck we were blessed with, we were put into and we selected an industry that we can confidently say is not only recession proof because we started in Calgary. And I think the reason why we've done so well is because we've started in Calgary, because because of the economic roller coaster we have of oil going up and down, we're just used to this, so when COVID hit, we're like, oh, just add it to the pile of just stuff we got to deal with, whatever, we don't care. So I think because EverLine's model started there, we've been able to become more adaptable to different situations, and that was able to transfer itself to everywhere else. Because when EverLine started, we were just a line painting company, and in order to handle the ups and downs of the Albertan economy, we had to diversify our services to be an overall line painting and pavement maintenance, where we do seal coating and crack filling and asphalt repair, epoxy flooring, things like that. And in order to be able to kind of go through those ups and downs and kind of level it out and make sure our revenue continued its trend of growth. And so when that model was translated to the rest of Canada during COVID, everyone else, it was the right amount of diversification that we were able to weather the storm quite well. So not only were out of 8 of our existing franchises, 6 grew in revenue. The others were just flat in revenue, but they were far more profitable. And then you have, of course, we started 2020 with 8 locations, and now we're starting 2021 with 18 and soon to be 19. So it's actually, this chaos is a ladder for us. We've been, I find that economic events like this, they'll trim the inefficient fat of inefficient companies or inefficient internal operations, and we were able to do both. And COVID made us better at the end of the day. Short answer.
That's great. Great to hear. And Simon, what about you and your franchise? What impact did COVID-19 have? And do you have any successes before, after, or during the pandemic?
Yeah, you know what? As soon in 2019 was my first year, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Like, everyone was spending money, and property managers are more, they're easier to convince, and everyone was taking a chance on me, and we were delivering, and everything looked great. And I was like, "Oh, I can't wait till second year. I kind of got a taste of the industry. I know who to go for." And then it was like, "What is happening?" This would, of course. I was like, this would happen to me, second year the pandemic hit, and I remember having these thoughts like, oh, this is not good. But like John said, obviously we feel for the people that have to shut down businesses, and all that aside, we saw a rapid increase of growth, faster than we expected in Winnipeg. I think it was a very good amount. So it was, it kind of goes back to the EverLine Coatings and Services concept. We have a model that allows us to be experts in different services that makes things easy, such as epoxy coating. We saw an increase in epoxy coating because people were spending time at home. They wanted their garage to look nice. They wanted their front steps to look great. They were spending money on home renovation. So we adapt to that idea. We marketed that. So it's strategically planning, adapting to the times. And we saw a decrease in commercial properties due to the pandemic. No one was out and about. People were saving money, but it's adapting to the time and just saying this is what it is and how to make the best of it. And I think to see growth across the board in a pandemic year, it speaks for itself.
And John, you mentioned how you achieved growth during the pandemic. So how did you achieve that growth and manage to scale up as an emerging brand?
So we set ourselves up in the beginning to be a very technology heavy business in terms of we utilize technology to leverage scalability. Because what we want to do is we want to, of course, because we're so seasonal, a lot of stuff has to happen in a short amount of time. And to be able to manage that, yeah, we can do it the old classic pen and paper way and all that kind of stuff. It's very taxing and challenging or whatnot. But so in order to solve that problem and make things easier, we invested in technology to be able to make that easier. So it started off with us being able to utilize the core quality system, which is an internal process that we use, that we tell clients that we offer a clear scope on every single project. A clear scope of work is provided to the customer as well as to our crew members so that everybody's on the same page. And operations reports are completed so that as soon as projects are done, we get a full report from our crews as to what occurred, how long they were on site for, how much material they used, and if the project is done or not, if they came across any obstructions or anything like that. Then there's the reach out and evaluate, where it's just that's the customer service angle of it, where we say, hey, listen, we complete a project. Thanks so much for having us. We got a report from the crew, the operations report that everything's done. Please take a look and let us know what you think. And then we evaluate. We evaluate internally to make sure the quality is to our standard, that our margins are to what they needed to be, so that are we being as efficient as we possibly could, and it ends up being a much greater experience for that. So it started with that, and then as we kind of further developed on our sales and CRM. Kind of software, proposal software, operation software to make it far easier for us to be able to do more in less time, allowed for that growth to be a bit more sustainable. I just ran the numbers here. The average growth was last year from year over year of existing businesses was 54% average growth. So it's significant. You had some as high as 80. You had Winnipeg, he has had a 52% growth, Simon there himself. So it was pretty bonkers in that sense. So, and I attribute that to technology. I attribute that to our positive marketing angle through social media, online, digital side of things. We project to out there that we're a friendly, fun, innovative company, and people want to work with us. We become the emotional favorite. And of course, that initial, hey guys, this pandemic is not an excuse to take your foot off the gas. It is like, a directive to just go pedal to the metal. And in order to make sure we're not caught in the crosshairs of this things. And that seemed to work.
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And Simon, on top of being an EverLine's coating franchisee, you're also a full-time firefighter and a new dad. Can you tell me a bit about these accomplishments and how you juggle multiple items at once while staying motivated?
Yeah, you know what? Being a firefighter, it's truly opened my eyes to the world. I've been in scenarios that's learning on the fly in situations, adapting to change, finding solutions in scenarios. It's a very team-oriented mentality where we rely on each other. And going back what I said, I see the resemblance of that in EverLine. We work together, whether it's not knowing a product that we never used before, where other franchisee has had problems with certain things, and they're quickly to respond like, hey, don't use this, do this. And, we work together, we help each other out when needed. In the end, it's all for a common goal. They want to see myself succeed, and we want to see everyone else succeed. So when you're into that environment, I feel like the opportunities are endless. So, but it is a lot at sometimes, like, shuffling all these things around, running this operation, going to full-time work. But I've always kind of told myself, why not? I'm all about taking risks. My job is all about taking risks. So I never put limits on myself. I'm a strong believer. If you have a winning mind state and you put in the effort, the results will show. For being a new dad, it's kind of fueled a little fire within myself. I mentioned that to John. I know he's a new father as well. So it kind of fuels a fire because you want to set an example for the future. You want to set an example how you can do anything, and the opportunities are endless if you're willing to work hard. You can be a firefighter, you can be a business owner, you can do, like I said, you always don't limit yourself. I've always pushed the limits and taken risks. So, here I am today.
Awesome. And John, how do you expect the challenges and changes from the pandemic to impact the EverLine coating system going forward? What do you think the future looks like, both in the short term and long term for the brand?
We're about to enter the EverLine golden age. I'm calling it right now. The reason being is that the pandemic, like many other places, forced us to really take a serious look internally and innovate even further. Like the idea of us providing a professional image and great experience to clients in our industry is novel by itself. For us to implement literally state-of-the-art, highly advanced technology into a business like this, and being able to spread out, utilizing the power of franchising across Canada, to be able to service national accounts and to be able to offer to our national account customers saying, listen, you're going to have the core quality system on every single project to make sure that you're super in the know, that there's never a mystery for the projects that you need to get completed. They are going bonkers over that, let alone our additional, like our new tagline of EverLine Coatings and Services, rethink pavement maintenance. And what I mean by that is that with COVID, especially for our clients who are mostly commercial clients, they have big holes in their budgets from not getting rent for 6 months or more, from a lot of their clients, because they just, like, people were shut down, they couldn't do it. And so they're being told by their shareholders or their owners of the companies, you have to save money, find a way to cut money, and there's nowhere else to cut. There's nowhere else to cut except what EverLine's bringing up to them. Hey, listen, for years, your pavement maintenance asset, your asphalt around your entire building, what you've typically done is just paved it, let it go, and then replace it when it doesn't look good anymore. We're saying, hey, listen, now here's an opportunity to save tons of money for us to be able to manage it properly, to fill potholes, to fill cracks, to do proper seal coating over it. It's more money kind of overruns, kind of like doing an oil change in your car, right? If you're like, oh, I'll save the $80 for not doing an oil change in my car, but then guess what? Your engine is totally shot as a result. It's the same principle, and that's the pitch we've been giving to our customers, and they've been really listening, not only on a local level but on a national level. So the franchisees that have been early adopters, like Simon here, who believed in the vision, the most amazing thing is the vision is coming true, and all signs are pointing to, all the data is pointing to an explosive year actually in 2021 and beyond.
Okay, awesome. And Simon, what do you think your franchise business will look like going forward? Are there any changes you plan on keeping or anything you want to implement?
Mm-hmm. I think John just kind of nailed it. We adapted our strategic vision to rethink pavement maintenance. Now I get to be part of that. I get to take that concept and apply it to Winnipeg and in Manitoba. And it's the clients have never seen anything like this before. They've kind of just had the original guy, hey, okay, my lines are painted and that's it. Here's an invoice. But now we're actually, able to use these strategic things. We think pavement maintenance. Why don't we grow your business? Why don't we market that business well? And in turn, it brings in more clients. So when the properties are looking nice, it's going to be a nice turnaround for these businesses. So, for changes, I'm just adapting and executing. I'm taking the idea what the team has planned, and I'm going to be executing here. There's going to be there's going to be challenges every day, and there's going to be challenges, who knows, 5 years from now. But I simply think it's just how you react to them. You can easily be scared of what's happening, or simply say, this is what we have to work with. This is a pandemic. It's not going anywhere. Or we just say, okay, strategically go back to the board. What can we do? What does our clients want? Let's use technology in our methods that we're doing things. We're doing a lot of things virtual, sending emails and with a video, or sending a proposal like, hey, this is what your property is. And just having that still client to client interaction, but over a video. So, those are the changes we're shifting to, more of the tech perspective. And I think we've got a lot of positive feedback, because a lot of the property managers and stuff, they're working from home. They can't meet us on site, but they still feel like we're doing all the work, and it's still a very close interaction just over video, and we're able to gather our data and present it to them in a very nice manner. So I think they're really happy, and EverLine is on top of it. I could definitely say that. So
awesome. My next question is for both you, but we'll start with John. What strategies have you used to inspire and motivate yourself during this difficult time? Is there anything in your personal or professional life that inspires you?
I think I'm very motivated. I started my very first business right in the middle of the 2008 crash. And this was a totally, this whole experience was, brought back, nom flashbacks of what that looked like and that sort of thing. But I do remember the level of growth and opportunity there was right after that. It was kind of like the phoenix rising from itself in that sense there. And I think that I don't know, but the way that I've said it is that the opportunities are going to come after this massive shift in this last year. It's going to be biblical, absolutely biblical. And to go in and for EverLine to be at the stage that it's at now, kind of getting ramped up and, getting out of the emerging stage and into more of the growth stage as a franchise system, the opportunity that this is going to create, not only for myself, but for my franchisees, particularly who were there since early on, and for those that are seeing and hopping on now and being like, yeah, this is going to work. That really motivates me, because you're going to have all these types of people all across the country that have been able to find a solid business model and connect with a brand that really truly wants this to be a part of their their entrepreneurial journey where they're building wealth with it and that sort of thing. And that is, to me, so motivating and so exciting, especially for, with Simon here, man. Like he's, I'm so like a reason why I was like, hey man, Simon's the best guy for this call here today, because he's so is so inspiring in the sense that, yeah, he's a full-time firefighter and he was able to build this whole side business, and it's now becoming like a thing way faster. He has now 9 employees with a full-time management team and all that kind of stuff, when it was only a couple of years ago that him and I just started talking, out of the blue from a Google search. And it's like, wow, that to me, like the stuff that can happen out of that is really exciting to me.
Mm-hmm. That is very impressive. Simon, same question to you. What inspires you in your life?
You know what, being able to employ people during these times, being able to promote them into, I just recently hired a young student. He's just, he's able to see, he's able to come in and see, oh, whoa, this is like me playing on a football team. This is awesome. You guys, we're all young entrepreneurs, and we kind of work. I've kind of built my business model as you're literally just going to work, but it's more of a teamwork environment. So I'm, and the employees, the feedback that I get from them, they really enjoy that aspect. They feel like, they get to be part of this brand. They get to be part of, they find inspiration and in it. They find motivation coming to work. So for me to see that and for me to stop would not be right. So I have to work even harder now. When I hear these kind of people say, this is, thank you for this position, or, and when my clients are telling me my garage has never looked this nice before, it was, broken 30-year-old concrete and now it looks like it's brand new. For me to, those kind of things motivate me to, okay, let's do it at a bigger scale. Let's motivate more employees. Let's do more culture events. Let's hang so we're just building a team, and, we're, like John said, we're expanding at a very fast rate, and join us. Join us or be kind of left behind. Like that's kind of where we're at. So, it's a great team environment.
And John, as a franchisor, what advice do you have for those who are considering franchising right now?
I would say, of course, look into something that, see works for your personality, when you are chatting with different franchisors, that you align with their vision so that you can get totally bought in, because franchising is not a one-way street, where it's a two-way street. And what I mean by that is, it's you, both of you working together. Simon and I, we're married. We're married, so it's kind of like a relationship there. I'm there to pull my weight. He's there to pull his weight. And I would say to any franchisee, there are a lot of really great concepts out there that are big, that are small, but really what connects with you and speaks with you in terms of your individual values and ideals really should be kind of your priority, I think, versus the business itself. Because it's kind of odd to think that in business in general, as long as the economics of the franchise that you're considering makes sense, that's the vehicle. That doesn't really matter. It's everything else that matters in running a business, and being surrounded by a team that you connect with, that you can collaborate with, that is supportive with one another. So yeah, I look very closely into that.
And Simon, as a current franchisee, what advice do you have for others considering franchising right now, or maybe people considering doing what you do as a full-time firefighter with a franchise on the side?
Yeah, you know what? If you were to ask me 2 years ago, this is where I'd be. Like, I would say, yeah, right. But over time that I look back in 2 years, we have such a strong backbone of experts that I relied on. Whether John himself or anyone else in his team across Canada. It's a team that they're there to help you out with any questions that you may have. They're going to guide you through the process in order to be successful. Everyone here wants you to do well, wants you to get those big projects, and for me to see my, headquarters like John and his team work on these national programs, because they want us to keep us busy. They want us to have these big contracts. for them to work as hard that I'm doing, and that's very nice to see. And I think people should just take risks, like push the limits. I never thought I'd be in this position and, running this operation. Some people, sometimes we're just so settled with Monday to Friday. We have our job, we have a career. I'm always looking outside look at the bigger picture, and I'm always challenging myself. And, I found that here, and I hope the next franchisee who's maybe thinking about it, I just have to say, go for it. Give me a call. I can definitely, guide you through the process. And like I said, that was what was told to me when I, joined the franchisee, and how open it was, how transparent it was. And like I said, it's a team of people that have the same goal and that's what we're doing here.
Wonderful. So those were all the questions that I had for you guys, but I'll open the floor if you'd like to add anything.
No, I really appreciate you having us on here. This is great. Love the idea that franchising is doing quite well in Canada, because I don't know, I'm biased, but I do think that it's, being a franchisee myself and now franchisor, to be able to help facilitate how something like that would go has been it's just a tremendous opportunity, because they're just really, truly, you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. And I think just kind of the upward march of humanity requires us to stand on each other's shoulders to keep getting on forward. And we're proving it over and over again at EverLine, where people are growing faster than I ever did, when I was running my standalone location back in the day. So that's the true excitement for me. So thanks very much for doing this.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening. For more franchising resources, including how-to articles, expert advice, franchisee success stories, and franchise opportunities, visit franchisecanada.online. Don't forget to subscribe to Franchise Canada e-news while you're there. You can also learn more about franchising at cfa.ca and can connect with specific franchise opportunities at lookforfranchise.ca.